Hello there guys, Francis Gray here and welcome back to part 2 of Boris Karloff as the Mummy Diorama build. So here is how we ended part 1 of this Mummy Diorama build. So all the parts have been made up and grey primed. Quick recap, the model kit of Boris Karloff as the Mummy was from a company called Geometric Design. He came in a various multitude of parts. All parts were filled with resin, drilled and pinned together. Abe's epoxy modelling clad in some extra details and filled in the seams and grey primed, so that's where we're up to him. The sarcophagus was actually from the mummy kit from the Brendan Fraser movie, and that was made by Polar Lights. Grey sarcophagus, the only problem is it's not very long, so it only came to here. So in comparison to this figure, it's well apart, it's too small. So I had to make a cut and then elongate it and then sculpt in the details to make both parts A and part B a lot taller. The base was also originally parts from the Polar Lights mummy kit. Just cut to straight edges, pinned, nailed to bits of wood underneath to make it all flush, and then I cut up some extra bits at the front here and glued all that in place, and then sculpted over it with air dry modelling clay. Same again, grey primed, ready for paint. The mummy nameplate or logo again is from the 90s mummy kit, so that needs painting up. The Anubis Warrior was just a statue I bought from a charity store. That works really good with this character. And this back plate here, again from a charity store. I just got lucky with that. The exact right dimensions for the backing. So this was a godsend. So yeah, so now that we've caught up with that, the next part of the build is to start laying foundation base colours.
Hi guys, so now that all the main parts have been given a black wash to make it look a little bit grimy and a little bit more aged, next part is probably a good idea to go in with black from an airbrush, basically just to add a lot more depth, basically. Hi guys, so as you can see there, all the main parts have been given a dark undertone with acrylic black from the airbrush. It's all looking a lot more aged, a lot more dark, a lot more atmospheric, which is what you want for like a 3,000-year-old tomb, I suppose. It's not going to stay like this. Obviously, this is just an undertone. So now next I'm going to be adding some lighter highlight shades, so it helps like a yin-yang effect. It helps stand out from the dark. The mummy is going to get some dry brushed lighter colour on his bandages, which is going to separate from the skin tones. Some dry brush gold and coppers are going to be applied to the sarcophagus to accentuate some of the details, like the nose and the lips and the fingers and all that stuff. And I'm also going to be dry and brush and a few more details on the base as well. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and give it all a coat of matte varnish, basically just to protect the paint job. And then I'm going to lay some details on the sarcophagus. Hi guys, so now that we're getting to a point where things are going to start to be glued in place, now is probably a good opportunity to go ahead and glue the red felt to the bottom of the base. So basically all I'm going to do is just PVA glue underneath, sit this down, put that on top, and then just leave it 24 hours to dry, and then just go around and cut off all the excess trimming. Hi guys, so as you can see there, the Aves epoxy rolled down the back to act as a bit of a connection spine, I suppose, is now hardened. So this sarcophagus isn't going anywhere. Basically, it's just worked its way in amongst all the little scratches that are put on the back, and then it's also worked its way into all the little nooks and crannies of this back piece, all the hieroglyphics and whatnot. So that's now nice and solid. The only other new news is the red felt's now being cut and is on the base there. The next job, or jobs, is I need to put this Anubis statue in place and then glue it. I might just glue that with regular super glue, put a few clamps on it, leave it overnight, and obviously the mummy needs to go there in the meantime. So he kind of stands upright as is, but I kind of wanted this hand to line up with Anubis's weapon, I suppose, or staff, so I can glue that finger onto there. Obviously his feet's going to be glued in place, and then this sarcophagus is going to be glued up to here, so it's going to lean up to his shoulder, and then this part of his hand here. Now, I am a bit worried about this because there's not much of a upright good connection. Now, there's two ways around that. I can either put some more Aves epoxy model and clear on and squidge this in place, but it's a bit messy. I don't really want to do that. The other option is, because I filled the bottom part of this out with resin inside, it's probably a good idea to drill a small hole underneath. Doesn't matter if I ruin a bit of paintwork, because obviously you're not going to see it because it's going to be sat straight facing down. So drill a hole, add a metal pin, drill a hole here, it slots in place, and then and then just glue it in place at a later date. So I'll crack on with that now, and I'll show you the finished results. Hi guys, so as you can see there, the front part of the sarcophagus is now fixed in place. It's nice and solid. The only problem with the drill and pin system is because it's leaning back, there's a tiny bit of a gap there. So that's a little bit of Abe's epoxy, that's right there. That's just basically to add a bridge. I'm going to go ahead and add some more clay around. I might do that with air dry modelling clay, and then model it going down the stairs a little bit. Try and make it look like a bit of sand that's being pushed forward or something. I also might add like a little bit back here, same again, so I can add some sand effect over the top of it and make it look like sand that's accumulated. The only other new thing is this vase or urn. It's got a hole on the back which comes naturally with the kit. I basically added a little pin here so that can be housed on there, and then once it's painted, just glued in place. So yeah, so far so good. I'll crack on with the next bit now and then get back to you. So as you can see there, the air dryer modelling clay has been left a couple of days, so it's nice and solid now. There's not much crackage going on. There's a little tiny one here and a little bit there, but besides that, there's a tiny little bit of shrinkage in this corner. But besides that, I think the rest of it is hardened really nicely. So I went ahead with a toothbrush and I added some like stipple effect into the clay to basically, once it's painted, to give it a bit of a sandy, grainy look rather than a smooth, snowish look. I put a bit around here so this jar now fits nice and snug. If I can get into there we go. So that now fits nice snug, and the best thing about it is, with it being displayed this way, obviously I can make full use of this hole. But also it displays the scarab beetle, where back there you didn't really see it. So yeah, so the next job will be to lay some base colours for the sand.